Hi everyone, this is my next video on basic powder measuring when you're using, or when I'm using, the Lee loader kit. Now in the other videos, you would have seen me use the standard dipper that comes with each Lee loader kit, and I think they also come with each set of Lee dies. Now, a lot of people are not comfortable in using this alone, and I can understand some reluctance. But if you practice and you get the technique right, then it is a very consistent and reliable way of throwing your powder into your bullets. So I've got a set of cheap scales here, and I've got a Hornady 150 grain round or projectile, and well, the scale's telling me it's 149.8 grains. So I think I can live with 149.8. Now with the dipper, it's all about technique. And you practice your technique until you get it consistent all the time. Now I've been shown that you push the dipper into the powder and not scoop it. Give it a bit of a tap, put it on the scale, and I've got 40 grains. And 40 grains is my preferred measure. That one's 39.6, so not quite 40, but 39.6 is 1% different. $39.6. $40.2. $39.6. $39.8. So after a number of dips with the dipper, I've averaged probably just under 40 grains, and while it's not 40, it's 1% less, maybe a little bit more on occasion, but 1% less powder. And for me, I'm not a 1% shooter. I'm not confident enough in my own ability or my equipment or the conditions that I think 1% difference in the powder is going to make one little bit of difference to the end score that I shoot in a competition. I don't think I'm good enough, or my gear is good enough, considering I use a 70-year-old rifle, that 1% difference is going to make improve my scores or degrade my scores to any meaningful outcome. Now the other thing that I use at home is the Lee Perfect Powder Measure. And again, for some reason people are not all that keen on this device, but again, it's technique and being consistent. So I've already had this set up. Well, should zero it first. That one's a bit under, 39.4. $39.8. $40.2. $39.8. $39.8. So again, 0.2 of a grain on 40 grains is 0.5%. 39.6. So again, for me, I use this one at home and I get pretty good consistent results out of it. Now the other thing that I was advised to try was making a dipper out of a botched or a cracked 303 case. So I've used a bit of solder and an old teaspoon to make a dipper, and I've tried this on occasion, but I've just not had any success in getting it consistent. So if you're a better machinist or craftsman than I, you might be able to get something to work better. See, that one's 38.4. $39.2. $39.8. So there's three throws, and there's well over a grain's difference between the highest and lowest. So while I thought it was a novel idea, and I thought give me the exact amount every time, I'm obviously not a good enough craftsman to make sure it's consistent. So there's a couple of methods that I use for measuring powder. I use this one at home, and I use the dipper and the scales when I'm out. So again, thanks for watching, and if you've got any comments, leave them below.